Hello, I thought I would give you all an update on the situation I find myself in. It goes back to what I showed on the last video of those two overlapping circles. And where you have that overlap is indicating the middle path. We're sojourners in this reality. We're just passing through it, and we are given a physical body which is part of this reality in which to use as a vehicle to navigate our way through. The theme is always about taking a middle path, and that is what I am doing, facing the facts of this reality, of this physical world in relation to myself, that I have to take this middle path. We're effectively like ambassadors between the spirit side of things and the material side of things. So in some ways I'm going back into the system, as it were, for help, because being very much subject to the algorithms of YouTube, and although I'm reaching out to try and help as many as I can, the videos have not been getting the views, and it's like I need to make a pattern break with this. So effectively, I take full responsibility. That's all that's happened with the arrest, the having to walk for 5 hours back from Portimao to here, which has taken a toll on the physical body, because I do have this chronic fatigue. And when it's at its worst, imagine every joint in your fingers. So on each finger there's 2 joints, and then where it joins the hand there's 3. Multiply that all over the body, things flare up, and it can be quite painful. But moving to Portugal and this warmer weather, getting away from the damp weather, has certainly helped reduce the number of days where I get that. So it's always working around the challenges that we face. There is a saying that you will never be given more than you can handle. But of course, it depends on our perception as to whether we react to things in the negative, or if we're able to just stand back. It's almost like a reference here to the parting of the Red Seas, allowing the sort of direct line to the creator with the co-creator in individualized form, which resides in pineal. So it's a parting of the Red Seas between the conscious and the subconscious. And again, you've got those 2 overlapping worlds, and then you've got that bit in the middle. It is always about taking the middle path. So my situation is firstly an attitude of gratitude, and a big thank you to those that have responded to Julia's video on Simplicity Revealed channel. It looks now as if the funds are almost raised, and Julia said to me, just go ahead and apply for a renewal of the passport, which I've done. But I still have the challenge of funding at the moment. But the good part is I can offer all those things I offered before. So I can offer the tarot card readings, I can offer words to help uplift and inspire you looking at your situation if you wish to take up mentorship. It is about walking an individual path, but at the same time reaching out to help others that may stumble on their journey, because we can all go into this sort of negative default. But as Jason says in Archaics, you can't have faith and fear. They don't sit there. It's obvious which one to pick with this. And that's what it really comes down to. because over this 2.5 years, really, possibly longer, it has been a fantastic journey of letting go of the fears and the worries of, here's the situation at the moment and this is the way it looks to be going. And of course, the conscious mind will go into that negative default and start worrying, which can lead to anxiety and things and depression. We don't want to go there. We've been there, done that. It is, as Julia says, about having an attitude of gratitude, and a big thank you to Julia. She's been very much like an angel, and come to my rescue several times, and none more so than now. So I can still offer all those things, but the only difference is it will be asking for PayPal payments on a donation basis to Julia at Simplicity Revealed. She's effectively working or acting as my sort of PayPal bank. That is my only source of income until I actually get this legal ID in the shape of a new passport. I've been to the local government in Monchique and they said once I have that, they can help me. So my aim all the way through is to provide myself with a regular sort of income of sorts, which takes away a lot of the pressure. Because where I really want to focus is on this immortal within aspect that you all have inside you. And I'd like to think that through my own experiences, because that's the only place I can come from, is through my own experiences, different situations and things, that if you can lose the fear of it and really know at your inner core that the universe has got your back, that recognition of the immortal that is within you, that recognition that we are only passing through this reality. We're here to have an experience. We are, as I said earlier, almost like an ambassador between the spiritual and the material. But I have found the exit, and it's not a geographical, physical location. It comes down purely to the frequency or vibration that you are on that is going to make the difference as to whether you pass out of this reality into something new. Now, what that something new is, it comes back to this same thing of stepping into the unknown from the sort of conscious side of things. The heart obviously knows the power and wisdom which is in the gut, the solar plexus, the place of the sun, the place of the moon. It's also the lunar plexus. It's learning that, as I've said before, it's learning that internal dialogue, learning that language that goes on inside oneself at your true core being. Once that is achieved, everything else loses its fear, it loses its sting, and you can face these things. Sometimes things seem to move very slowly, but it is always expect the unexpected. A classic case of this was Friday evening. I'm sitting here thinking, oh, it's time to feed the cats. And I had somebody turn up who used to live here part of the time, and sat and had a conversation. They went off, but they started the car, and then I thought, oh, they must have had a phone call or something because they've stopped. But by this time, I'd gone in the kitchen to put on some water for some coffee, I think it was. And this person came back and said, "You got no bank account at the moment," and gave me €10, which is totally unexpected. But it's having that gratitude, it is recognizing that the universe has got your back. It is purely what frequency you put out will be matched by the external, and the results you will get will be purely determined by your frequency. So it's business as usual. This is really going through a sort of rising from the ashes on a personal level. Now, whatever you're going through, I can't say it's any better or worse for any one of you, because we're only given as much as we can handle. But it's mastering how we handle these things which is critical, as to then determines what will come next, what trajectory you take, whether you make it a harder route for yourself by going into that reactionary state, and then you'll be probably presented with a similar experience which may be a little bit harder, but you can make it easier on yourself by finding and recognizing that immortal within oneself. That will get you through this. That will get you through whatever you will face. You will encounter along the way a lot of hostility. But keep in mind, a lot of that hostility is because others have not done the inner work. What they're actually doing is outwardly projecting their own frustration. It may be that they wish their situation to change, but they haven't found that courage, the see our age, our core age inside of themselves, to step into the unknown. So, of course, rather than face that, they become a little bit triggered, and then they will go almost on the attack at you. And it can come from those that are quite close to you, ones you would think wouldn't do that. But the circumstances present themselves. But keep in mind, it is not that they are actually attacking you. It is more that they are letting their inner frustration come out externally. They're venting it rather than facing it inside themselves. That is another big part of this. That is something I will go deeper into on this channel. In fact, the focus of this channel is really going towards 2040 and 2046. Almost, you could say, stepping into the role of Moses, of leading you to the promised land. I'm not going to be the only one. I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal here either. But I am coming from the place of experience of things I have been through and overcome, and I'm building up quite a good portfolio of things I have overcome, various challenges that we can all face, be it anxiety, depression, panic attacks, concussion, the hernia. I mean, look at that, the beauty and the timing of it. Had this arrest had taken place about a month prior, that's when I did have the hernia. That 5-hour walk back from Monchique would have probably took a lot longer and probably would have done a lot more damage to the physical body. It's also slightly cooler than it was about a month ago as well. So I have nothing but gratitude. So as a little test you can give yourself, whatever your situation is at the moment, it's easy to recognize the negative aspects. But remember, we're in a realm that reflects duality. Up and down, hot and cold, left and right, and so on. So therefore, when everything else is reflecting, there is contrast, there is duality. If you can instantly recognize, say, 10 negative things, there must be 10 positive things, but can you find them? This is the thing. Because imagine if I'd have made this video and it was all from the position of negativity, of complaining about everything, how it's not pleasant to hear. This is why prayers don't work, coming from this position of lack. It's, I haven't got this, or that shouldn't be happening. Instead of this attitude of gratitude, of being in a position of saying thank you, even for what the things that seem to be negative. because it is going through those experiences that we are going to grow to become the best versions of ourselves. What I will say is the one, I suppose, mantra you could call it, to go with is in that Christ story. I can't remember the biblical quote, but do unto others as you would have, or as you would wish done to you. So whatever the situation, consider your every thought, every word, and every action. Then put yourself in the position of the other. The outcome of your thoughts, words, and actions. If it was being done to you, how would you feel about that? Is it something you would want done to you? There is the truth. It's a very simple question to ask yourself. Would I want that done to me, whatever it happens to be? That is your one real guide. But it is about learning this language. Listen to that gut feeling. That is your guide, your own individual compass that will guide you. It's not going to be a bed of roses either. Let's be realistic about this. There is a theme, the fall of man, the fool's journey. It requires that fall of going through what seem to be negative things because it breaks pattern. In fact, the more you have this sort of tower moment, this fall of the walls of Jericho, the walls of protection that we build around ourselves, where we're now exposed and feel very vulnerable, that is the best thing that can happen because it creates a massive pattern break. Otherwise, the cycle will keep continuing. That's why there has to be a pattern break. It's something that Neville Goddard talked about in terms of repentance. It is a radical change of mindset. And by extension of that, you could even say it's a radical change of direction geographically. Excuse me. Maybe you're moving to a new location and stepping into the unknown. That is a massive pattern break. The logistics of doing that are not going to be easy. I can think of one that is actually doing that, and involves the relocation of pets as well. So there's a lot of expense with that as well. So good on them for taking that step, because that is what is needed, a pattern break. Otherwise, you're stuck in a loop, an endless loop. Time is cyclical, and it can be cyclical on a very individual level unless we break pattern with things and go in a new direction. So I have nothing but gratitude by the way things have gone. I'm not out the woods yet, but I have this inner knowing that this is leading to something better. And certainly in the interim, and it's something I can do, it's about taking action, taking active steps. So as far as this video channel is concerned, it is reaching out. If you're struggling in any way, maybe a one-to-one personal tarot card reading will put things into context for you, or just talk to me direct via email or via messenger. I'll put links in the description. But do not send anything to the previous PayPal on the old channel because I cannot access it. So if you do want to send any donation, or you want to take up any services that I can offer to you, then I will put the link to Julia's PayPal in the description. She has been a really good support when it's been needed most, and I've got nothing but gratitude, and gratitude to those that have had the kindness and generosity to enable the funding of the renewal of a passport. But we're not out the woods yet, but I need to step up and take active steps. this is the whole thing I'd actually sort of put into motion, that I don't want to be relying on handouts from individuals that are on the spiritual path. I'd rather be in service of those individuals. So I'm breaking a pattern to create a new way that will give an income. So I'm not asking for donations. I don't really like doing it. I don't feel I can give enough back. That's an issue inside myself, of course, because there are plenty who've said, but you do give back in what the messages you put out in the videos. But it's that standard I set myself, that I've raised the bar inside myself, and I don't see that as being something wrong or something that's negative. But I can't force anybody to do anything. It is all of your own free will. That is another big aspect to this. But I will be going deeper into this whole thing about the immortal within, and you do have all you need inside yourself. It is just the unlocking of it. Maybe I might be the one that is sent to help you. There are others. It's not about me. I'm just a messenger, effectively. There are many messengers, and we can all help each other, often through experiences we've been through, the lessons that we learn. So we're now up to 21 minutes and 44 seconds. I might actually make a video about this number 44 and the 144, because there is a lot to unpack. I have covered some of it, but there is a lot more to that as well. So until the next video, as always, unconditional love to you all.